Okay, we're going to take a look at this proud liberal democracy for the third time and see why we're such a proud liberal democracy. I'm going to show obviously a bit of footage of what that looks like in real time, and then we're going to cut into some actual evidence of why you're seeing the footage you're seeing.
We are a proud liberal democracy. We are a proud liberal democracy. We believe in a world order that favours freedom and that supports the dignity and free expression of all people. We believe in human rights, in gender equality and the rule of law, and we back that up with how we pursue these things in our own country, in our own society, and how we raise our own children.
All right, so let's now move on to what you believe you've been living in versus to the reality of why this is even allowed to occur. Alrighty, so what do we got here? It's the Commonwealth of Australia, Securities and Exchange, registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission on the 29th of June 2009. There you have it, Commonwealth of Australia. That's the name of the registrant. Why would it be there, I wonder? Look, under the Schedule B of the Securities Act of 1933. And who was the signature there? Mr. David Pearl, Minister, Councillor. Australian Embassy. How about that? And it said if requested copies of the notice and communications from the Securities and Exchange Commission. I'm just wondering if you guys understand what the Securities and Exchange Commission is. How that's a division of another business corporation that's running out of the USA, which is also another corporation. And look down here, it says the guarantee of ADI debt securities. Now, you can talk your way through all of this if you like. That's what you need to trade, etc. Blah, blah, blah. None of this existed in the past and people traded without it. So how does it all of a sudden this happened in 2009 and prior to that in 1999 when everything got incorporated? How is it that we were able to conduct commerce prior to that? And all of a sudden we got to do it this way. Really you've got to be able to answer yourself that question. And all these people that say that, ABN is different to ACN, etc. You just got to think about, right, if you are already paying tax, right, income tax, to fund government services, why would they need to incorporate, right, into a corporation then to charge you extra tax, right? Like, why does that got to happen? Just think about that. You're just paying, and think about it. It's like one so-called government department takes money from you, but they've registered for GST, so they've got to pay it into another so-called government department. Like, you got to think about the madness of how much tax you're actually paying. It's a very clever way to keep raping you without you even realizing it. This is a system of taking more and more. But let's not allow, fantasy to get in the way of reality, shall we? And so let's go have a look at the actual police now, shall we? Here we go. This is from Dun & Bradstreet. Now, I did show you the other day when I was live that it's the same site. Now I've actually taken a snapshot before they took it down of the actual details that you can't see in that previous video. So, doing business as Police Department Vic. Anyone who knows what all capitals letters means, it means you're a corporation. That's why it's always printed in capitals. So Police Department Vic, the corporation is located in Docklands, Victoria, so that's also a corporation. Australian part of the Justice, Public Order and Safety Activities, and there's the word industry again. So how is this a system of service if it's an industry? Really got thinking about the words that are in front of you guys and the meanings of those words. So here, this corporation has 18,146 employees at this and generates 2.34 billion in sales. When they stop you on the side of the road, that's where your money's going. All right? Think about that. What crimes are committed every time you get pulled over by a police officer, not a constable, for an infringement? What crime you're actually committing? Where is the actual victim? Because that's all that their job is, to just prevent any sort of crime or to bring people to justice who are committing crimes where there's a victim, nothing else. If this doesn't make sense to you, why they're stopping you, to generate money, because that's their job. That's why they get quotas. Why do you think they have all those those mobile cameras out there? And who runs it? It's the police, because they're a corporate business. And here it says, these are two companies in the Police Department Vic corporate family. Right there, guys. There it is. So how are you going to split hairs of whether it's got an ABN or an ACN, and then you're going to tell me this word corporate means different because it's got an ABN? That's what you're going to say? Oh gosh, this is really tiring having to go over the same stuff. So this is their industry again, right there. You can see it, right? Also public administration, police protection. So the industry is to protect themselves. That's what it says right there. I'd love to see how you interpret it. There's the address, etc., etc. There's the employees again. There's your revenue again. So only corporations make revenue. A corporation is something that's a for-profit industry. Every single one of you is being harvested without you even knowing it. Every time you get pulled over, any infringement you get. This is a harvesting. That's all it is. So, you don't think you work hard enough? Well, you're going to have to work a lot harder because their job is to keep taking it off you. What year did it start? In 1853. So this enterprise started in 1853, but was incorporated, unless you're going to tell me it means something else, in 1999. And here we go. Let's go to ABN lookup. So you can see Victoria Police down here. There you go. Let's click on the actual ABN number. You can verify that for yourselves. Police Department Vic, active from 1st November. See, it said it was incorporated in 1999 in the Dun & Bradstreet, which is the credit reporting agency for corporations. Just because it says state government entity, that's just the term they use. Doesn't mean it's actually a system of service. Registered in July 2000, right? There's your evidence, guys. You can accept or refute it. It's up to you. But we're now going to look at the actual police oath and the difference between what a corporate officer is and a constable, and why you still think that you've got constables, but in reality, you've got actually mercenaries. I've already done this, so I'm just going to go really quickly. I do swear that I will well and truly serve our sovereign lady, the Queen. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of this, because if you really unpack this and what an oath is and who can actually write an oath, it can't be legislated. But we're just going to, for the sake of people's level of comprehension, I'm not going to get into that today. So we're just going to go just to understand some simple basics about it. Without favour, affection, malice, or ill will, until I'm legally discharged, that I will see and cause Her Majesty's peace to be kept. Yeah, you would have seen a lot of peace in those videos. Preserved, and that I will present to the best of my power all offences against that peace, right? So were they preserving it, or were they actually violating it? It's right there in front of you if you want to see it. Blah, 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 best my skill and knowledge, discharge all duties thereof, therefore, faithfully according to the law, discuss what law is. Everyone who doesn't understand law will say it's something to do with the legal system. It's just a bit tiring. And now I'm going to bring up another one just to see how the two are congruent with each other. Here's a law dictionary definition of constable. A constable has independent authority to exercise his or her office. A constable cannot be directed by government. I'll say that again. A constable cannot be directed by government or senior police as to who he or she should prosecute. A constable's duty to enforce the law is a personal responsibility, and the constable is answerable only to law, not his or her senior officers for the performance of that duty. I'll say that again, not his or her senior officers for the performance of that duty. Now, when you saw those police shooting at people, is that congruent with what you're reading here? So that tells you they are not constables. Therefore, they're not operating out of a system of service. Therefore, they are not public servants. They are private mercenaries. Their job is to collect revenue for their corporate masters. That is it, nothing else. If that's not enough evidence for you, I'm not sure what is. So let's finish off with that video just so you can see for yourself. And what I just read out, right, that they're responsible to follow the law, and only the law, not any senior officers. Rightio? Does this look like people who are following the law, or marching like an organized unit who follows instruction, who's being told what to do by government? Which one do you see?
The drafting of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and we continue to strengthen the international human rights system, and we will continue to raise our voice on important issues like the rights of women and girls, the rights of Indigenous peoples, because respecting the rights and freedoms of the individual is intrinsically important. It is fundamental to our values as a people and as a nation. It lifts all societies and nations too, delivering better outcomes.
That's your better outcomes, guys. So guess what? Guess what the police are complicit in? War crimes against the people. That's what they're paid to do. And you got to think about the moral quality of somebody who knows it in their gut what they're doing, and yet they carry on doing it. That's who you have your faith in, that is there to protect and serve you. Yet very few people have I ever heard explain the definition of what a service to the people is and the roles and responsibilities of a public servant. This is the part that is sublime. They just come out with terms they don't even know the meanings of. But if you don't understand the terms you're using, how do you get the right to use them? That's your last question to ponder.